Hi, parents. How are you? Happy Monday. So this week I'm going to focus on reading. I thought maybe I could do reading each week. However, I'm happy to get feedback from you on what you think is has been helpful. However, I know the importance of both of those things, so trying to balance them. This felt right now. I'd love the feedback though. So, so to start out, I think it's um, never too old to talk about the importance of book selection and how to think about books. So I gave your kids two things to think about when thinking about books, and I've been thinking a lot about this for many years. I've thought about this second thing. First of all, um, when you're selecting a book, it's important to think about what you like. What do you gravitate towards? Are you into fantasy? Are you into realistic fiction? Do you like graphic novels? Do you like books that are funny? Do you like books that are about sports or about animals? Like, what is the thing that you like? And I think kids need to know that they have the permission to read whatever they want to read. And um, I think now more than ever, when we really are always trying to give the message to kids that reading should change you, that you have this opportunity now to really help your kids understand the power of reading. And the only way that they do really is to have a book that changes you. And then it's like, oh yeah, I get it. So I'm going to talk a little bit about some books. I did share a whole bunch of books with your kids. I think will help them, and you can watch that video and get some ideas. So I'm not going to share as many of those with you, but just to keep in mind that idea. Now, what matters to your kids. Now, the other thing is reading should never really feel hard. If we're going to think about reading and if we're going to be changed by reading, we have to be able to read the words smoothly and be able to do that really good comprehension work that I'm going to be talking about all week long. And so when a book feels hard, that feels like a good time to abandon a book. But I did also caution kids is that, sometimes it feels like this is a book that feels boring. And I did say, hang in there for 2, 3, 4 chapters. Usually books get better as you get to know the characters better. So I would say, keep that advice going. If it still feels like, I'm not engaged, my mind's not on fire, I can't talk about this book, then that's a good time to abandon it. We just want to be careful that kids aren't doing that every day. One way that I think can help with kids not abandoning books is having conversation about their books. So I emphasize that today. I'll continue to talk about that. I think conversation, there are so many reasons why we need to talk to our kids about what they're reading. One is engagement and motivation. Like if kids know that there's an audience for what they've read, what they've experienced, and you're curious about that, and you ask them, questions about their reading, about their characters, about who they like, who they don't, and why it is that, then it becomes like the book becomes more a part of them, and they're eager to continue the reading and to continue the discussion. So the other thing that can be really powerful too is to read the books your kids are reading so that you can have a richer conversation. When you don't know the characters, you don't know what's happening in the plot, it is a little trickier. There's no reason why you can't do it, but it's trickier, and you can have a really rich conversation with kids when you get to know the characters in those ways. So that said, I just want to share just a couple of books with you and a couple ways to think a little bit about book selection. Okay, parents, hang on one second. I feel like I'm getting better at this, and then I'm like not getting better at this. The weekend kind of got me away from it, I guess, a little bit. Here we go. Let's do it. We're doing it. Almost. Not quite. Okay, I think for now we are. Now, one more thing I have to do. Here we go. There we go. Okay, so parents, sorry about that. So I think it's really important, you know, to find out like what makes your kids tick. If they like animals, books with animals are great. This book is one of my favorites, Shiloh. Tiger Rising is amazing. This is that's more fifth grade. Shiloh is more fourth grade. Love That Dog is third grade, fourth grade. One and Only Ivan. These are all fantastic books about animals and kids, and just really powerful messages. You will enjoy these books with your kids, and they will be life-changing books. I always think about the book that changed my life when I was in school, and some of you may know this book. Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. I recommend it for fifth grade and above, for especially for girls, but boys as well. It's one of those books that you're like, okay, you know, and believe it or not, I think it was written in the 60s, is still incredibly relevant now. So I would highly recommend it, and great book for conversation. Kids love it. Relationships and hard times and struggles. This is a really kind of funny, serious book about how when a grandfather has to move into the house, and I forget the main character's name, Peter has to give up his room. We're out for war when it comes to that, and how this incredible grandfather really helps Peter understand and grow close together, even though he's lost his room. One of my favorite books, definitely can be life-changing. This is another book that I think is life-changing for middle schoolers. Stargirl, the movie is coming out, I think it is out. Great book. Great book. And then just getting them thinking about different genres. A lot of kids like fantasy. This is a great book for fantasy. You know, some kids like, you know, graphic novels. Some important to think about. Oopsie. Little problems with technology today. And then, you know, thinking a little bit about books that are funny or silly. Fourth Grade Rats is one of my favorites as well. Anyway, parents, and then, like I said, great if you can talk with your kids about their reading, and really, you know, think about having conversations with them, and just helping them, you know, select books that can be life-changing for them, and so they get the power of reading and understand that. Great chatting with you. We'll continue our conversation. The rest of the week will be about how do we think about our books when we read, and we'll continue to explore that idea of feelings and paying attention to our feelings, the feelings that our books bring up for us, and also thinking about how our characters are feeling in their books. Have a great rest of your day.